Hello, everybody. Shane Nordy here, founder of Church of the People for Creator Mother Earth. Today's episode, we will be talking about fighting, psychedelics, God, UFOs, and all the good stuff that comes with Church of the People for Creator Mother Earth. Tune in. Set, ready. Can't record on this one. What the hell? I got the SD card in. I think I gotta reset it.
Basic elevator music. Be back shortly.
Oh, elevator song.
Yeah.
Memory card's in. All right. Okay, record. All right. We're live and direct here, Church of the People for Creator Mother Earth podcast. It's a beautiful day up here on the Hoya Mountain, here with a good brother of mine, good member of the church, solid bro here. I've known him for a couple years now, probably since about 2019, 2020 time, I'd say. And,
sounds about right.
Welcome. This is Brother Johnny. Brother Johnny, how you doing today?
Oh man, it's another beautiful day, like you said. So happy to be out here, celebrating Creator, supporting the church, hanging out with my bro. Can't complain, bro.
Heck yeah, man. It's been a good weekend, been a good time ceremony, good time praying, good time being with the bros, checking in with God, Mother Earth, and being able to be here. But just for the audience, give us a little background of who you are, where you come from, and how you kind of came about coming out here to the church.
Yeah, so I met you. You reached out on social media. I'm a professional MMA fighter. I was getting ready to fight in a Grand Prix tournament over in Japan, and hit me up, said, hey, here it is, here's the time, just show up. I did, and the rest is history. I grew up in Iowa, wrestling my whole life, and about 2012, 2013, decided to, move out to San Diego, pursue my dreams, became a UFC fighter. Left the UFC. Now I fight in Japan for Ryzen. It's like the original. It's if you guys are familiar with MMA at all, it's basically the modern day Pride Fighting Championship. So before UFC, the efficient rules, head stomps.
Cats can get kicked out there.
Head stomped on. Yeah, you got to mind your P's and Q's. It's a lot more. It's a lot more efficient. We'll just say that. So, moved back home to Iowa 3 summers ago. Be with my family, be with my boys, and started a gym out there. And man, just been doing the damn thing. Just trying to get it in where I can, and represent God anywhere I go, and just try to be the best I can be.
Hell yeah, that's beautiful. That's awesome. That's to be able to fight in all these different fighting organizations and still to continue to pursue your fighting career. When did you actually know you wanted to pursue professional fighting and get into professional fighting?
Oh man, I'd say almost right away. I wrestled my whole life. Grew up in Iowa and wrestled. And when about my senior year, I think, is when the Ultimate Fighting Championship, like the TV show The Ultimate Fighter, was on TV. And I just remember thinking, like, damn, like who in the heck would want to do that stuff? You know what I mean? But at the same time, it had that like the double-edged sword. It's like I don't know if I want to fight, but I definitely want to learn how to fight. And then you start to learn how to fight, and you're like, oh shit, I kind of want to test this stuff now. Like, so I'd say within like the first year, I knew I found something that I wanted to pursue. Something, all my friends were going to college at that time. Like, oh, this is what I want to do. Maybe, I might want to be this when I go to get out of college. But I'm like, you know what? I'm all in, dude. I think I know I want to be a fighter and everything that comes with that. And I knew if I just put in the work, it would pay off, And it's been ups, The thing about fighting is though, it's it's a dog eat dog world, right? And you only eat what you kill. So if you don't fight, you don't get paid. You don't win fights, not only do you not get paid, but you might not get another chance to fight again. So, you know, it's not been without its ups and downs, but I wouldn't trade it for anything, man.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's a journey. How has that been? Can you explain a little bit just what it's been like for yourself personally, just going through different fight organizations and transitioning into even, you know, boxing, you know, because I know you're a professional boxer as well and whatnot, and yeah, just talk about a little bit of how that journey's been, and then what does it feel like to transition from a, you know, mixed martial artist to just stand-up boxing?
Oh, okay, all right. I like this question. So honestly, like, you know, I didn't get signed to the big show, you know, the UFC, like the world level fighting, until, man, I think I'd already had 22 fights. So I was 18-4 as a professional fighter, like 6 or 7 finishes. And so when I finally got signed to the UFC, you know, it was kind of like I burst onto the scene. You know, I won my first 4 fights in the UFC, 2 finishes. I had 2 fights I had a fight of the night and performance on the night, and then just, you know, through that time, the UFC went through like a transfer of you know, Lorenzo Frank Fertitta. They owned the UFC when I got signed, and then they ended up selling to you know, some other, whoever owns the UFC now. And through that time, it was just, you know, just slowly but surely it went from like a family company, a feel-good company, and they loved having the fighters there, took care of the fighters, to just feeling like we're being used a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, it's like the company is the only people that they have in mind, and if they can use you, they will. If not, they won't, you know? And so around that time, around my second contract, and then I lost 2 in a row, you know, so I was 4-2 in the UFC, had a fight of the night, performance of the night, and around that time, the Professional Fighters League was coming out, you know what I mean, and ended up getting signed for their very first tournament. And that was like a first thing, you know, because it's $1 million tournament, you know, one of a kind, kind of a UFC thing, or a fighting thing. I did that, did really well. I went 1-1, or 1-0-1 rather. So I won a fight, and I had a draw to the 2018-2019 champion, actually. But after that, PFL is a season, so there was a little bit of downtime there. So I ended up taking a fight in Japan. It was like a real short notice. I think it was like 2 weeks notice. Ended up just fighting this guy. He was on a win streak. Had just knocked out a UFC veteran, and he was getting, you know, he was climbing the ranks. And, you know, here I was coming out 2 losses in the UFC, you know, a win, a forfeit win, and then you know, a draw. So, you know, I think they're, you know, over in Japan, they're thinking that they're going to use me to build this guy up. And I come out and ended up finishing the fight. Ended up like breaking his orbital bone, and they had to stop the fight. And then after that, they're like, hey, you know, we got a tournament coming up here, and if you win another fight, we'll just put you in that Grand Prix. And ended up fighting another veteran, Kitayocas, I believe was that fighter's name. And yeah, ended up winning that fight by stoppage, corner stoppage, and got signed to the tournament. Ended up in the semifinals of that tournament, and ended up losing to the champion. And, you know, and then after that, COVID. So, you know, I had a really good year in Japan fighting, you know, winning fights, and all of a sudden now I can't travel to Japan, I can't fight, you know, and I ended up having to sit out for 2 years before I could go back and fight again, just for the travel ban. And in that meantime, I couldn't fight MMA anywhere because I was signed over in Japan. So, but I could do professional boxing, you know, and that's when I started professional boxing. Always loved boxing. Boxing is one of the slickest sports. Like when you know, you really